they found him. All right. So shout out to Darvin Hamm, who agreed to, reportedly, it's a 4-year deal to be the next Lakers coach. All right. So shout out to Darvin Hamm. Some of y'all probably know, if you follow basketball, Darvin is currently an assistant, well, now former assistant coach of from Milwaukee. Right, he has some of experience, working with Milwaukee and with the Budenholzer tree. He helped Giannis. He helped him get a championship, right? So he has some championship pedigree. He's, by all accounts, people say that he's more of a people coach. He's a player coach. So lots of players respect him around the league, right? And as a result of this announcement, LeBron James tweeted out that he's so excited, right? He congratulated and welcomed Coach D Hamm to the team. All right, so again, he's been a part of the successful tree under Coach Bud. All right, so yeah, that's some of his history. Another significant fact about him: he played 8 seasons in the NBA, so he has some experience. That also gives you some respect since you played, right? He won the championship with Detroit in 2004, right? And so the Lakers chose him reportedly after his interview. Apparently he stood out. He stood out so much that they offered him the job the next day on Friday. So, man, that's awesome. And one of the other finalists for the job were Terry Stotts, right? Quentin Snyder was supported that they wanted, but never really went to it. They're also holding out hope for Doc Rivers, but of course, reportedly he's staying with the Sixers for right now. So, anyway, your reaction to Darvin Hamm, the new Lakers head coach?
I think it's a good hire, man. Darvin Hamm has been around the league for quite a while. Like you say, he's been on Mike Budenholzer's staff in Milwaukee, and he was also with him in Atlanta, I believe. He got his start in the league as like a player development coach, and if you think about it, that goes a lot into Giannis. What we saw him become, MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, and now NBA champion. So I think that Darvin Hamm will be a significant influence on the Lakers. I think he's a player's coach. And it definitely helps when you have the actual NBA playing experience. I think it's an overall good hire, and I think he's going to be a good coach. It just depends on the actual Lakers roster at this point. Obviously, LeBron is seeming to be excited. We have to see, what happens with Russ, and hoping, Anthony Davis is able to come back healthier, stronger. I think he will be fine as a coach, good coach. I just don't know how good the Lakers can be just not because of him, but because of roster and their other issues, not having really a way to make moves as of right now. But I like the hire for sure.
So as I was saying, my mic was muted. I really support the head coach as well. As a lot of people on NBA Twitter said, they're just happy that they did not hire Doc Rivers, which I support. Doc Rivers, unfortunately, has not shown much recently, right? I think it's just a name. I'm glad they didn't go after just a name, right? Terry Stotts is kind of like a name, right? We see assistant coaches have major success, right? Look at the Grizzlies, Taylor Jenkins, right? Ime Udoka with the Celtics.
Right. Now I'm thinking about it. Darvin Hamm, Taylor Jenkins,
Quinn Snyder,
Kenny Atkinson, Quinn Snyder, all came from the same staff as assistants, and now they've gone on to be, if not they've been pretty successful head coaches so far. So I think that sometimes is a part of it too. Is like getting that fresh blood, getting someone in that's probably not as known, like you said, a name, right? Like Doc Rivers has been around the league for years, and we know how good he has been, but sometimes it just is like popularity, I guess, for lack of better words. Darvin Hamm is not really. This is his first head coaching job, and he's also like maybe like the 15th black head coach, which is awesome. So I definitely agree with you on like the name part as well. Like he's gonna have a lot of pressure, but I feel that because he's kind of, I guess, to the more common or just regular fan, he's not very known, so that probably can play into his advantage.
Yeah, it could. As far as like scheme that he wants to implement, this is like a new coach and you don't know. If you're contenders in the conference, you're not sure how it'll work out. This is probably definitely the best hire that the Lakers could have made. Part of the interview process that was out there was they were asking the coaches, how would you implement Russell Westbrook, right? So apparently his answer was good enough to be hired as well. So I'm interested to see what's the plan here to get this to work. But I say the same thing as I said last season. If Anthony Davis is not healthy, and MVP Anthony Davis is not going to matter. It's not going to matter. He's got to step up. Once upon a time, we thought of AD as a top 5 player. I don't think he was a top 5 player anymore. I don't. You gotta show me, not top 5.
As of right now, no. I mean, and that's even with the games that he did play and he wasn't injured, he just didn't look the same, and it may just be a result of injury. But like you said, the Lakers won the title 2 years ago. Well, 2 seasons ago, right? And Anthony Davis looked like one of the best players in the world. And, we hadn't seen that since then. It's just been injury and that's it. So, yeah. I agree with you. I think Darvin Hamm has to, of course you got to figure out the Russell Westbrook situation and how he fits and everything. But Anthony Davis needs to be healthy. And 2, Anthony Davis needs to be the focal point because, you have LeBron. And LeBron scored 30 a game this year, but you see the results still, like 33 and 49 for the Lakers this season. They need Anthony Davis to take the helm, take the lead, for real, because even though, like I said, LeBron's great, but he still needs the help. He needs to be able to, probably at this point, conserve some energy so they get to the playoffs and he becomes full-on playoff LeBron. And Anthony Davis, if I'm Anthony Davis, I want to prove myself. I want to be like, all right, we got a new coach. I'm about to come back stronger. I'm about to, show everyone why I should be top 5, or why I should be considered one of the best, or NBA 75 at that.
Yeah. Remember, also the Lakers literally invested their future within Anthony Davis, thinking that he would be the future of the Lakers. As of right now, I'm not sure if Anthony Davis is the future for the Lakers because he's not staying healthy enough. Because that was a plan. Like, once LeBron gets old enough, integrate him slowly, to the new offense surrounding AD, right? And have AD take over. I don't know. Ever since that championship win, it hasn't been the same. And you could blame part of this on the roster construction. True. And injuries. The roster was not the best built roster. But the expectation is when you have these superstar players that you at least make the playoffs. You couldn't even make the play-in. That's a failure. So
right.
Darvin Hamm has a lot of work ahead of him. But I think the Lakers brass and the Lakers community is in support of him, which is a good start.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Darvin Hamm, man. I hope the Lakers are good. We don't want to see. It's weird when LeBron isn't in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Even at this time and day and age, it's just like he's. The Lakers didn't make the playoffs. They didn't get eliminated. They didn't even make it. They weren't even over 500. So, and like you said, the roster is going to be something they have to figure out. LeBron can't. It's not 2018 where LeBron's taking random players to the finals. He needs the help. So, but yeah, like I said, shout out to Darvin Hamm, and I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Part of it too, LeBron was still dominant, but I think part of it too is I think the league is just a little bit. It's more skilled now.
It's definitely gotten better.
It's more skilled now compared to back then. You could probably get away with it back then. You know, when you have as many. I feel like there are like a lot more talented teams right now compared to like what 06 or whatever, right? 07,
yeah.
2007, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Yeah, just looking at the East and the West, and then come up with these teams.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So they have to have a better roster, and then at least figure out how they want to make this work. So yeah, again, shout out to Darvin Hamm.